Fellas, today we're going to be talking about how to farm materials surrounding the Dawning event. Everything from ingredients to Dawning Essence, where are the best places to go, including some cheese spots. And I highly recommend doing the Dawning event this year because some major things have improved. Number one, you can actually focus target all of the loot that you see here. Number two, this pulse rifle. Yeah, it looks good, man. Crazy enough, it can actually roll with things like Desperado, as well as a number of new traits that dropped this season. By the way, if you haven't checked out our video testing out all the traits, feel free to check that one out. With that being said though, guys, upon opening Destiny 2 today, you'll see some pop-ups on your screen, one of them being this one right here, essentially letting you know that Eva's Dawning oven that we're all pretty accustomed to by now has gotten an upgrade. You're now able to see all the cookie recipe information for each cookie in the recipe section of the oven, even if you have yet to bake the cookie. Also, the description of each ingredient now clearly communicates the source, so you no longer have to divert to the internet to figure out how to bake certain cookies. It's all in game. And by the way, that used to not be the case, right? Now, there's also two new cookies this time around, one for Finch in the Throne World and one for Spider in the Elixir Quarter. Now, after this screen, you'll also get another pop-up telling you about the Dawning Stasis infused snowballs that are returning this year. Essentially, picking up and throwing snowballs at enemies will contribute bonus progress towards weapon crafting objectives for equipped weapons, and you can find snowballs on Europa, the Throne World, Dares of Eternity, the Derelict Leviathan, Vanguard Ops playlist, and in Nightfalls. You can also actually upgrade the snowballs via Eva in the tower for some extra improvements. Now, to actually begin the event quest, you'll head to the tower to speak with Eva, and she'll give you her oven, as well as the Dawning quest and the ingredients to bake Zavala a cookie, which is the first step. You can access the oven from your quest tab and essentially just bake and deliver this cookie to Zavala. Now, every time you deliver a cookie to someone, they'll give you a Dawning gift in return. Now, these may actually contain rare or legendary equipment, glimmer, and additional gifts. You have a chance to also get a gift in return from delivering cookies. These can actually contain upgrade modules, legendary shards, cores, and prisms. Next, the game will want you to take a look at the event card for the Dawning, which is also in the quest tab. Now, you'll have the Dawn of the Dawning event challenge completed. Claiming the rewards of that challenge will make all the other challenges viewable. These challenges award you with different items like shaders, upgrade materials, and an exotic ghost shell, as well as the new Dawning weapons like Stay Frosty that you actually get from the very first challenge. Now, if you want the Dawning seal, you'll have to complete all of these challenges and more. These can actually be found on your Triumphs page under the Star Baker seal. Now, keep in mind, you'll also get event tickets from these challenges, which can only be spent on the upgraded event card tiers below the challenges for extra cosmetics. Again, though, you don't have to buy this, but yes, the event card does cost 1,000 silver. It unlocks that new exotic emote, an exotic sparrow, and a shader, and allows you to spend the event tickets on an exotic ghost shell, other emotes, transmat effects, and a ghost projection. But again, completely optional here. Now, after this, you'll return to Eva, and she'll give you some Dawning spirits. And you actually generate Dawning spirit by delivering cookies and completing Dawning objectives, as well as just defeating enemies around the solar system. They can actually be spent to unlock upgrades at Eva. And I will say this, guys, before you heavily start farming for weapons, purchase these upgrades. They make a huge difference. Now, next, you have to purchase one of the set upgrades from Eva, and the first one being Merry Maker, where you'll receive a boon of friendship every day from Eva. Now, a boon of friendship is a daily gift that allows you to pass on an assortment of Dawning goodies to your fellow guardians whenever you complete a playlist activity. Additional goodies are received when multiple players have the boon active, and the effect actually lasts until a reward is earned. Next, Eva will give you a quest called Cookie Delivery Helper, with the first step requiring you to bake and deliver cookies for Banshee, Saint, and Failsafe. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is a very, very long quest, and this is actually the quest to allow new players to masterwork their oven. And before you really start heavily farming for cookies, you do want to masterwork your oven, guys, as it's going to save you a lot of materials. Now, we actually completed the quest, and honestly, it didn't give us anything. So what I'm saying is that it's really not worth doing the quest if you've already previously played the Dawning event. Essentially, guys, just make the cookies that you don't have, and that will allow you to masterwork your oven. But if you do want to do the quest, just for sake of completing it, you'll start by delivering cookies to Banshee, Saint, and Failsafe. Now, again, you'll be able to exactly see what ingredients you need for each cookie when you view the recipe list via the oven, and where to get said ingredients via the ingredients list below that. Now, the baked cookies, if you don't have the oven masterwork, will require 15 Essence of Dawning, which can be attained from completing activities and the weekly Dawning bounties. These bounties also reward you with Dawning Spirit and Bright Dust. And we're going to talk about how to farm for Essence of Dawning in the most efficient manner possible. By the way, I do want to mention, even though these ingredients do spell out where to get them and what enemies drop them, the drop rates overall for ingredients has definitely slimmed up some. Like, I don't know if Bungie actually intentionally changed this, but overall drop rates here are not good. Like, one of the ingredients just required me to make orbs of power, and I made a ton of orbs of power, and the ingredient just was not not dropping, and it finally did, but it took forever. So if you're sitting there wondering, is this bugged? I too am scratching my head wondering if it is actually bugged, or did Bungie just make it harder for us to obtain these ingredients? So far, they haven't said anything, so what you're seeing there in terms of drop rates seems to be the case. Now, Eva's daily bounties will reward you with Donning Spirit and certain ingredients, while her repeatable bounties will reward you with Donning Spirit, Bright Dust, and a random ingredient. Now, once you bake one of each cookie, then you'll finally be able to masterwork the oven. And again, you don't have to complete this entire quest line. You just simply have to bake each cookie once to masterwork your oven, especially if you've already done the donning event before. This lowers the essence of donning cost down to 10, which is a significant saver here. And again, for the cookies that you have not baked before, they simply have a question mark over them. And only one new cookie was actually added for this year, and that's Finch's cookie. So bake that one, and you'll be able to masterwork your oven, which even if you do complete this quest, will save you a lot of essence of donning. Now, as far as how to farm essence of donning, there's a couple ways to do it, and we found 2 ways to be the fastest, both of which will require teammates. Understand this is just the most optimal ways. You don't have to do it this way. You could just simply play the game at your own pace, and essence of donning will drop for you after those activity completions. But the 2 places that dropped the most essence of donning in the fastest manner was the investigation mission, which is part of the Witch Queen campaign, or legendary lost sectors. Both of them were very, very fast, and I would argue and say the legendary lost sectors, if you have a good fire team with you, was even faster, because we were doing runs in like a minute and a half, just speeding through this thing, and we were getting a bunch of kills, so we were also getting ourselves ingredients. But every single lost sector completion gave us somewhere around 16 to 17 essence of donning, and the same there with the investigation Witch Queen mission. Now, the thing about the investigation Witch Queen mission, again, before you used to be able to go all the way to the end and trade off checkpoints, you have to stop before that point, like before you go into the section to kill all those ads. So you actually stop here, trade the checkpoint, wipe to save it, and then you can transfer it to your teammates and then swap over to the character that you're completing this mission on. Again, completely up to you guys. Both are very good, and I would argue and say legendary lost sectors is the better route, considering you're also getting more ingredients per run. And there's also times where like the investigation Witch Queen mission would bug out and you have to like go back, make sure the objective updates, things like that. But if you happen to be in our Discord and you are trading these checkpoints back and forth, all that we ask is that when you get the checkpoint, you trade it off to someone else before you dip. That way everyone is getting this checkpoint. Now, keep in mind, in comparison to things like a strike, you get about 16 from a strike. Highest battlegrounds is somewhere around 13, somewhere around 11 in a PvP match. Again, though, this is not a grind to be done in a single afternoon. This is definitely over the course of the next few weeks. So if you got the level for legendary lost sectors, that being 1580, these do rotate daily. So of course they'll be faster or slower depending on the day. If they get above like that 2.5 minute mark, then go do the investigation mission. If you can get it below that 2 minute mark, then I think doing legendary lost sectors is going to be the way to go. Now, the quest will continue with each step asking you to essentially bake more and more cookies for different vendors with a variety of different ingredients that you'll have to track down. But once you've completed all of these steps and baked every single cookie, you'll be tasked to masterwork your oven if you haven't already done so. And that's essentially the Donning 2022 quest for this year, guys. And no, completing the quest, at least now, does not give any rewards. I know, kind of a bummer. Now, let's talk about Eva and her upgrades, because this right here is going to give you the best bang for your buck when it comes to farming all the different weapons for this year's Donning event. Essential Harvest gives you Donning Essence when you complete Donning bounties. Gift Wrap Exchange Ticket unlocks the Unity and Edgy Gift Wrap Exchange focusing options on the second page of Eva's inventory. Now, Unity and Gift Exchange actually guarantees either the Glacial Chasm Fusion Rifle, the Avalanche Machine Gun, or the Stay Frosty PR7 Pulse Rifle, whereas the Edgy Gift Exchange guarantees either the Zephyr Sword, which has some very interesting roles, including Chain Reaction. I know, it's a stasis weapon. How does that even work? Trust me, guys, we'll be reviewing it. Cold Front, as well as the Stay Frosty PR7 Pulse Rifle again. Now, the Limited Gift Exchange Ticket unlocks the purchasing of the Stay Frosty PR7 Pulse Rifle, and the Perky Presence makes it so that Donning weapons have the chance to drop with an additional perk in the left column. And the Perkier Presence makes it so that Donning weapons have the chance to drop with an additional perk in the right column. So again, I know that these are expensive, but before you start to heavily farm for these weapons, guys, unlock these things, man. Especially the ones there where you have additional perks in those final columns. That will allow you to have an extra chance of potentially getting that God roll. Now, some general tips. If you have the Starfarer 7M exotic ship from season 12, you definitely want to equip it, as it will grant you a chance to obtain Donning Spirit whenever you obtain a Donning ingredient. This is essentially how we were able to continually keep getting Donning Spirits as we were killing ads, because every time an ingredient drops, we have that chance of also getting Donning Spirit. Now, if you want to farm cookie ingredients, you'll definitely want to masterwork your oven first. That way it costs less essence to bake. Once you do, though, for the best solo farm, you can honestly just go go to Grasp of Avarice with Trinity Ghoul and just do what we're doing right here on the screen. You get a variety of ingredients though, including chitin powder and multifaceted flavor, which will allow you to bake the bright dusted snowball cookie. And after about 5 minutes of this, we had 30 chitin powders and 20 multifaceted flavors. There's essentially 20 cookies if you have the essence for it. I think what you're going to really run into an issue with is having enough essence of dawning, which is what we found. So ingredients, yes, they're important. And we're going to talk about an AFK farm here soon that you can do, or as close to an AFK farm that you can get to. But these bright dusted snowball cookies are honestly the easiest to farm for. Now, Dawning Surprise is actually the new origin trait that's found on dawning weapons, and it actually grants you dawning gifts on rapidly defeating targets. When they drop, they actually appear as this little purple legendary cube on the ground, and when you pick it up, you get 10% ability energy. Right. Not exactly the Dawning Surprise we were hoping for. I was like hoping for like loot or something. But yes, you get ability energy. Not really sure if this is going to still be a thing even outside of the dawning event, but we'll see. Now, sharp flavors, which is sword kills, and perfect taste, which is precision kill ingredients, have been such a pain to get this season. It always has been. But if you're in a situation where you're like, yo, these are just not dropping for me, trust me, guys, they've been that way before. I would argue and say they're even worse now. Just keep trying to get them if you're trying to farm for those cookies specifically. Now, let's talk about this AFK farm. There's currently an AFK farm in the King's Fall raid in the Gorgoroth maze after completing the War Priest checkpoint. Now, we do recommend using Trinity Ghoul here, and this is very similar to how Thrallway used to work. And by the way, Thrallway does not work anymore. And the difference here is that you don't even need healing because you don't even get attacked by the ads. Now, to acquire this checkpoint, you essentially complete the War Priest encounter, and you can just pass this off to someone else too. So if I got folks that are actually passing checkpoints inside of our Discord, again, similar to the investigation mission, when you get the checkpoint, pass it off to someone else. Now, you do not want to progress to Gorgoroth. You want to stay in this maze. And as long as you don't leave the maze, you will keep this checkpoint. Now, when you actually get the checkpoint, you cannot join on someone currently in the maze. To share the checkpoint, you first have to have them go to orbit, pull members into your fire team, and then you load back into the raid. You don't need a wipe, and as soon as you load in, you'll have the checkpoint. Now, to get to the AFK spots through the maze, we're going to show it right here on screen. The directions are essentially right, left, left, right, and then right again. Here, Cursed Thrall and Taken Thrall will actually spawn infinitely. Now, I want you to make sure you choose this spot. There are other infinite spawning spots, but this one gives you more materials and XP. You can spread your shots out about every 4 to 5 seconds so that the ads actually have time to all spawn in, and you'll get multifaceted flavors, electric flavor, taken butter, and chitin powder. These ingredients will essentially allow you to make those bright dusted snowballs as well as etheric cold snaps. Keep in mind, guys, you don't have to do any of these crazy farms. And the way I would look at the dawning event is just kind of go at your own pace. You can accumulate essence of dawning over the next few weeks by doing any activity in the game, so you don't have to do crazy stuff like farming lost sectors or even the missions. But if you are looking to optimize, I would definitely top your essence of dawning off whenever it's a very fast lost sector like it is today. And I'm sure we'll have even faster ones at some point this week. And then as far as ingredients go, Grasp of Avarice or this AFK farm here in the King's Fall raid, both of those are very, very good. And as far as like AFK farm, it's not really AFK farming. Again, you got to still shoot your gun or shoot your bow. But hell, you can just sit there and literally tap every 4 to 5 seconds. Easy peasy, man. Well, guys, that is our guide for the Dawning 2022. Let me know in the comments below if we missed anything. We'll have reviews out on all the new weapons, starting with the pulse rifle, so be looking out for that. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.